Alright guys, I finished my Gigaminx mod, and I really think it worked out really well because, as you can see, the first layer turns amazing, turns really well, and the second layer barely even catches. Like, you can do double finger turns as long as it's aligned properly. It's still not a perfect puzzle, like it's still not to the quality of the Gigaminx, but second layer is still, second layer has always been good. Well, I guess I'd say okay, but like I had said before, what I had done was I filled, where is it? Right there. Turn it the right way. There we go. I filled all these holes, all these little gaps right here with, let me see. I don't think I have it anymore. But I filled the gaps with this Loctite plastic adhesive, I think it was, and it did a really good job. It capped all those holes, capped all these holes, and yeah, all these holes are capped. And then I also capped these smaller ones. You see right up here. Turn it the right way. You see right here, I capped this with this nasty putty, and as you see in my other video, it destroyed my Dremel. But yeah, it's a really good puzzle now, because in the beginning what I did was I sanded the corners, the corner stocks. I sanded the corner stocks, and then I sanded the, let me see how I have those extra pieces. But here's how it looks. It's filled, and if you look at my other video, I show that I'm filling it, and this is how it looks when it's filled. And I took my Dremel to it, and it's perfectly fine when you Dremel it. You don't get any residue on your Dremel like you did with the other stuff. But yeah, it works out really well, and you don't get any residue on your Dremel. It's a plastic epoxy. It hardens just like plastic, and yeah, it worked out really well. So, in the Me and Myself and Pie, his video, what you do is you sand this down, and you have to sand it down quite a bit, honestly. You need to sand it down a lot more than you really think you need to. And the same thing with this. You need to sand these down, and you need to sand these down pretty much half. You need to get rid of half of that edge. And what's happening is this is rubbing on these pieces as it goes by, because this where's the piece that's next to it? Here it is. This piece right here is rubbing like that along it, and if you shave it down, it has less to rub on, and it makes that first layer so much better, because this is rubbing and this doesn't catch on the piece. And so Me, Myself, and Pie, he did that mod, and it's a great mod. And also with these pieces too, I think forget his name. He modded like crazy on the Gigaminx, but he said with this piece right here, the one that I filled, this hole right here, this center edge wing, I guess you would say, you need to sand off. I'm not sure if you can see really clearly, but you can probably see it better with the black. But in his video, I'll put a link to it down there. And in his video, he says to sand off. There's like a little bump on this piece. There's a little bump, and you want to sand it off. And it's a little raised, and you want to sand it completely flat. And after I did that, it eliminated all of my pops. Not all of them, but eliminated about 90% of the pops. Because normally I would turn it. I would turn my puzzle, and I would get, and this piece right here would pop out. And so I'm not sure why by sanding this piece right here, this piece doesn't pop anymore. But you know, it's so much more better. And single layer turn barely catches the first layer, and as you can see, it barely catches, because on the VCube 7, even though it's a masterpiece, it's still, I just put Gigaminx in this. It's still, you know, it still catches that next layer, and so, you know, like, it's all right if it does that. Yeah, I just took a look at this, so that's why it's a little retarded. But yeah, and also too, what I learned was you want to get some Jigaloo. I was talking about some CRC before in my other video, and I tried to use CRC on my Gigaminx, and what I found out from using CRC and Jigaloo is CRC is very CRC is, it's heavy duty. And so I'm not sure if because it says it's heavy duty, but it's hardcore. Like, it's really, really strong silicone spray. And this stuff, it dries dry. It doesn't dry with any residue, any slippery type residue. It dries with like a whitish residue, which is the silicone, and it locks your cube up a lot. And so on 3x3 to 7x7, it's okay. But I found out that Jigaloo works a lot better on the Gigaminx, because you don't have to worry about it when it dries. It gets stiff and you have to pop it, because this thing is so delicate. These pieces are so delicate that I twisted it for 20 minutes, and then I put it down, and then it dried, and then I went back and I went to twist this layer, and it just locked. And so I had to take the entire puzzle apart, pop the piece off, and I tried spraying them individually, and honestly I think it's better to spray the puzzle while it's together, because it breaks down the plastic faster, I think, and it smooths everything out well. And yeah, so if you have a Gigaminx, get some Jigaloo. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you can get it there. It's only $2, just like the CRC is. But I think I'm going to switch from CRC to Jigaloo now for all my puzzles, because it gives it like a Vaseline slash silicone feel to it, because it's still a little wet. Like, the pieces are still a little wet when you silicone them, and so over time the puzzle breaks in, gets better and better and better. So as I'm playing with my Gigaminx, waiting for my stickers to come from Cubesmith, the puzzle's just getting so much more better every day. And so yeah, and even with my 3x3s, I just did a mod. I just did a Siamese mod, and like, it's so much better. This cube is my first one. It's lubed with CRC, and it just feels stiff. Like, it just doesn't feel like it has that glide like Jigaloo does. And yeah, that's my personal preference. It's all personal preference. That's what's cubing. That's what's all cubing is about, is personal preference. So, you know, do what you want and like what you do. That's what I say all the time. So, yeah, get some Jigaloo for your Gigaminx, and I recommend filling the capping these, and also capping these right here. Capping, can you see it? Nope. Capping these right here, just like the Gigaminx. Alright guys, Check out my first video if you haven't. All right, later.